Welcome to Automation! Today, we're going to be making a replica of a car from another game. You may have seen me playing Interstate 76, and I wanted to challenge myself to make an automation, the player's car in that game, the Picard Pirahna. So I'm going to dive in and see what I can do with a little bit of research from the game manual and try and get this as accurate as possible. So first of all, the game takes place in 1976. So that's the latest our car could be from. But I feel like it's a little earlier. And for reference, it's the most similar in terms of real cars to a Dodge Challenger, I believe, which I've got some stats already up for here. The 7.0 V8 is what I'm aiming at because the Picard Pirahna has this 432 badge. So I'm going to try and recreate it in that configuration. It should be a real muscle car. And if I'm basing it on the Challenger, it's probably a safe bet that the, I believe the model year would be something like 1970, or the Challenger started in 69. I'm gonna set the car's model year to 69, and hopefully have a good body for that. And maybe the trim year to be a little later. It's a pretty iconic body, so I want to get something nice and close. I think this might be the body to go with. Which is good, because I actually happen to know that other body has some nasty built-in bumpers. So this is going to be the basic shape of our car, and I'll stop and back up my research from the game manual or from the internet as I get the question I'm not too sure about. First off, panel material. Definitely steel. What else can you make out of it? Now, ladder or unibody? Now, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think that the Challenger actually had a unibody design. And another big influence for me is going to be the target weight. There's a whole set of specs for the game in the manual here. Where's our Picard Pirahna? So you have a dry weight of 3,220 pounds, and I've got my automation in kilogram. So let's see, what's that in kilograms? We're aiming for a weight of 1,460 kilograms, so that's going to also affect my choice here. We even get a top speed, acceleration, although it's not clear which engine that's with. Now, one of the tricky things about recreating the Pirahna here is going to be the fact that in the game, you get it with a V6 motor and tiny wheels and crappy suspension, and you replace most of those parts during gameplay with upgraded parts. So you have to pick one configuration to be canon, per se. And like I said, I'm going with the 7.0 liter motor because it's got this 432 badge on the car, and that's definitely part of the car's identity, I think. That's the canon. And they even have stats in the manual, which will tell us that motor is going to match up pretty close with the real-life Dodge Challenger 7.0 motor. So it's 432 cubic inches, call it the SHO, or as Ford calls it, Super High Output V8. 425 horsepower, and we also get some acceleration and quarter-mile times, which is kind of hard to work with for just an engine, because these engines could all go in different cars. So I'm going to go with monocoque for now. Steel chassis. Front longitudinal engine. Looks like it came stock with leaf springs, drum brakes, all kinds of lame, simplistic stuff that American muscle cars are known for. Now, the real Challenger had apparently a torsion bar up front, so I'm going to go with the shittier front suspension. Used to be a McPherson strut. And apparently the real Challenger had a solid axle leaf suspension, but in the game you can upgrade to a coil suspension, and I think that's what I'm going to do. Now, the engine. So first off, the 432 cubic inch engine, or 7.0 liter. We've got a bore and stroke here, so I'm going to pay attention to that, and the horsepower. 90-degree V8, made out of maybe cast iron. The engine has a cannon weight, so we'll see how close we can get to that. With push rods, and just like the 7.0 Challenger motor that makes the same horsepower as the one in the game, so it's what it's based on, we'll give it a 108mm bore and a 95.2mm stroke. Which actually makes us just a little smaller than 7.0 liters or 432 cubic inches. I'm not sure if Dodge calculates their engine displacement a little differently than automation does somehow, or maybe if they're doing a little padding. But maybe I'll just stroke it out there to 95.5 to make it pretty close to 7.0 liters. Cast iron head. Probably forged steel internals. But we'll see what we end up with in terms of actual RPMs for this thing. Compression. On the real car, it's 10.2 to 1, and I doubt that's going to work well in automation. I'm going to leave it at 9.6 for now. We know it's carbureted. I'm betting it's a 4-barrel, maybe single carb, maybe dual carb. Let's go with dual carb. 425 is a lot of horsepower. Standard intake. Super leaded fuel. That's what I'd expect from a car with this kind of compression, or a motor with this kind of compression. Oh yeah, let's say it's a newer motor, a 1974 variant year. We'll do that for the car too. That makes it pretty new in 1976 when the game takes place. Fuel mixture, ignition timing, gonna leave that all right there. We're looking to make 425 horsepower, and we're going to make it at 5,000 RPM. If we're getting performance like the real Dodge 7.0. Maybe go for some tubular headers, dual exhaust, mufflers like that. So, straight off the bat, we are knocking a lot. We have valve float. Need some top-end quality. Used to be expected. It's a pushrod motor. We can afford it. We can go to +4 here. And let's solve that knocking with... I want to aim for, a low RPM power peak, right? So a little less ignition timing. I'll have a little more cams, a little more fuel. Let's get to like 50 cams. I want to cam it way out. And now we have our peak power at 5,000, just like the real motor. But it's about 100 horsepower short, which is a lot short. And if I make power through cams, it's gonna not be great. Let's open up the exhaust. We're getting there. Couple quality points. Couple quality points of fuel. 378 horsepower. Performance intake. Oh, Conrad's starting to stress. Could end up having to make that a heavy duty. Nah, it's gonna have to be forged stuff. I guess I was right about my first guess on that. What else? Where are we gonna get our extra 40 horsepower? It's not the super high output I want, but maybe I'll come back to tuning the motor in a little bit. Oh, and what do we weigh? So our target weight from the game manual for this motor is going to be, for the 432 cubic inch, 550 pounds. And in automation here, we are at 341 kilograms, or a lot of pounds. So I'm gonna put an aluminum head, an aluminum block on this thing. Actually, I'd bet a lot of money that the actual motor here in a Dodge Challenger is not made of aluminum. I bet it's cast iron. What's this isn't really relevant. I want to make it like the game. But what's the real life 7.0 Hemi weigh? 800 pounds? Yeah. So it looks like Interstate 76 really underestimated what this motor should weigh. Alright. Camming it out. Trying to get my 425 horsepower. Dumping fuel in. Dumping cams in. I'm into a point where as I add cams, it's not really giving me power, just taking away torque. Do I need better headers? Those help. 412 at 5100, we're not too far off. 425.9 at 5100 RPM, I think I can call it there. And it's a reasonably optimized configuration, we're not wasting a lot of octane or anything. We're using every bit of that superleaded fuel we can to make this power. Which, you know, definitely correct for 1974. So there, we've got our motor. And it sounds about as mean as you'd expect. Now the car, matching the motor, we'll make it a 74 trim year. Looking not bad. Now, gearing. It's rear-wheel drive. And in the game, you get an automatic transmission. And you can set it to drive 1 or 2. So a 3-speed automatic, it's actually not hard to imagine that might be the case. If I go trim year a little newer, if I go to 75 trim year, I get a 4th speed. That seems like it might benefit the car a lot. Maybe I'll cheat just a little bit and say the whole car is a 1975 trim year. There's no conclusive evidence in the game that it's not, you know. And the car is stated as having a top speed of 140 miles an hour. And I'm going to bet that that's determined by gear, not by power or something, since you can put more engine in the car. Open diff, because they didn't have no posi locking fancy stuff yet. Wheels. I think that the tires in this period in the US would probably have been cross-ply, but automation just hates them, so I'm gonna go with radials. There's even, in the manual, there's like, yeah, different lateral acceleration Gs for different suspension types you can equip on the car, and different wheels and stuff. I think there's a cornering Gs given with the car itself as well at some point. 300-foot skid pad Gs, 0.84. But of course, in the game it depends what you have equipped on the car. I'm going to start with these, yeah, 195s maybe? Let's go on with a tire width. I feel like that's kind of narrow. Let's, you know, want square tires, so I'm going to bring this front out just a little bit. Try to get it on like 2/15s. And we'll see how that handles. With a hard compound for now. And, let's see, last time I was playing the game, I had some 15-inch Kragers, it called them, equipped. And I was doing some research earlier on this. I researched this, and Kragar is the real wheel, as a brand name. So the Kragers in the game, they're kind of a knockoff brand of a real thing. And I'm not going to do all the fixtures right now, but I actually do think that there are some wheels like that I'm wearing all these modded wheels that look just exactly like what I want. I might do it before I forget since I'm thinking about it. That's way too modern. Getting warmer. Warmer still. Is that about it? Aha! Exactly the Krager wheels. Pictured on a website. Now, I didn't pay close attention to what they look like equipped in game, but I think that's accurate for a muscle car like this. Now then, all those alloys. Tire profile, pretty chunky. I think that's appropriate. I'll fine-tune it later. And let's just suppose we have front disc brakes. Definitely no under-tray in a car like this, and probably not too much cooling airflow either. Not that that's a great choice when the car's going to be heavy with weapons and armor, but I don't know if I'll be adding that weight in BeamNG or anything just yet. I'd call it a 2+2, most likely. I'm not sure how many a real Challenger fits in the rear seats. With a premium 8-track player, definitely. Gotta have that nice, soft power steering. And probably some standard safety. What's that include? Standard 70s. Get bumpers, padded dashboard, shoulder seat belts in the front only, and laps in the back. That's probably close enough. Some progressive springs with the good dampers. And an initial tune of, yeah, so-so. Ride height looks good. You have very little roll angle. I think there's just too much roll bars all around. Cornering 0.83. We're pretty close on these tire width and compound. Brakes. My initial tune's not far off. Let's max out the size on the drum brakes, so I think they're cheap. And brakes aren't quite strong enough to lock up the wheels. Sounds about right. And let's just pretend we figure out a way to get some air behind them, because, ooh, that brake fades a lot. Now what about gearing? Let's see, we have 52% wheel spin, which is bad. Very bad. I feel like in real life, these sort of cars had a pretty close together gearing, and we're aiming for a 0 to 60 time of what? There's a stated 0 to 60 for the car of 6.3. Motor here says 5.5. So, you know, something in that range. Don't know what motor actually gets the Picard Pirahna. It's 6.3 seconds in game. Man, taking spacing out is not really helping. Yeah, let's go to a medium compound. Flashing red wheel spin warning. Not shocked about that. I'm not sure that's going to be like completely undrivable or just muscle car-y. I can certainly get the wheels out in the game. Maybe for now I'll just get some 225s on there. I want to keep the tires matching. Wheel spin's now at 25%. See, that's somewhat controlled. What's our quarter mile time, supposedly? 14.2 compared to in-game gives a 13.5. That might be an indication we need to go to even wider tires. Let's say we stagger it. Maybe we go to 245s in the rear. Still hardly helps the wheel spin. In fact, what tire size does the 69 Challenger have? With its 425 real-world horsepower. Supposedly, on the 426 is what they give for an engine size. So maybe it was a little less than 7.0 liters. 205s all around. Yikes. It's a lot of wheel spin. Let's put our gearing right about there. And I'll see what it's like in Beam. If it starts off super sluggish, I'll have to do something about it. And the overall weight of the car is 1465 kilograms. If we compare that to the video game, I think it's very close. 1460 kilograms is our target weight. We're pretty much dead on. That's good to see. So, pending a little beam testing, I think we pretty much have our Picard Pirahna. With, you know, all of these warnings. Honestly, I feel like I look at the flashing red wheel spin, yellow brake warnings, blue short gearing, it all does say American muscle car to me. We can just clear those suggestions. They don't need to tell us how to make a car, we're American. So, let's get started on making it look like the Picard Pirahna. So I've got a few pictures to work with. We of course got this picture with the girl who dies in the very beginning of the game posing on the car. You can see there's a good hood scoop going on with like a V-shape dip in it. Oh, looks like it's got some cotter pins on the hood. We've got headlights and blinkers inside the grille. This is a fan art, so it's not 100% accurate. And then here's some game screenshots. Fortunately, it's pretty simplistic, so on the one hand, it might not take long. On the other hand, getting these paint stripes right could be a huge pain. Oh, I also have some screenshots from my gameplay. This is what the car looks like with the high resolution turned on. One thing this body is missing is there's a nice flat area on this kind of hip. I don't think I'll be able to add that to this automation body without making it look super screwy, so I'm not going to try. And let's start with the paint. So we know it's like an orange. It doesn't look very flaked or anything. It's kind of darker. There we go. That's a pretty good orange shade, I think. What color's that in game? Doesn't even have a rear pillar or a middle pillar in game. And so this has two windows, whereas the body in the video game just has one. So we're already a lot more square looking. We're already not that close, unfortunately. There's not any examples quite like that, are there? I don't think so. Where the door goes all the way to the rear pillar. Most of these have a little secondary window, which I think real cars tend to do. It's not a surprise automation's like that. It's just that the appearance of the car in Interstate is very simplistic. So we got a nice square grille. I think I can even just use a grille that's in the game instead of making one, maybe. I don't want this chrome trim on top, for starters. I can just paint color that away. Let's see if we have any other options. It's really the squarest grille we've got. So there, that gets painted out. We've got a grille. And some very simple round headlights. They're going to be the whole size of the grille. I'm going to go in like a dark plastic fixture. I'm going to be seeing a lot of these square indicators. And that's almost it. Let's see, looking closer at it. Where's my game picture? It looks like maybe the grill bars, they go vertically and horizontally, and they don't go all the way to the top. They only go as high as the headlight, or the indicators. Let's just lose the grill bars entirely. We'll add our own in. That's a little more like it. And in fact, this whole area with the indicators, so it might just be a painted area. I think that about looks like it. And on the bottom, we don't have like a chrome bump or anything, but we do have this just triangle splitter. I don't think there's much to that. Might be a couple Little gray area. I think that's meant to be like a vent. I'm not even sure if that's worth trying to copy. This looks about like what I want. Yeah, I'm liking the way those vents kind of work in, although I'm not liking the way the cut looks. Well, I'm not sure that was worth the effort, but there, 2 little vents in the big splitter on front. And we are getting closer to our goal. Now let's see, there's another indicator on the side. Just clone you. Thanks. Ah, it's running away from me. Ah, that's a good place for an indicator. Right about there. And before we move on from the front, we're still missing, let's see, some cotter pins and a hood scoop. I don't know if I have a cotter pin somewhere in MISC fixtures. I kind of wish I could type in the names of fixtures to search them by name. I have so many fixtures that I don't even know what they are anymore. I get subscribed to the Deltas mod list, and in they all go. And then when I want something, I just search around to find out whether it exists or not. That's a fuel cap of some kind? Or no, it's like a fire hydrant thing. That's kind of okay. Those little silver latches on the hood. And the hood scoop. So it's an interesting shape, this hood scoop. It's got a downward crease in the hood, which interrupts the stripe too. And I'm not sure there's one exactly like that. I might be able to kind of compound it out of a couple hoods, but that might cause some funkiness. My first pick is this guy, maybe. This because it comes with that dark color already on top, and a split in the middle. Which is, sure enough, something that we see, although a lot wider. We also have the real Dodge Challenger hood scoop, which has an intake on both sides, and a gap in the middle. That's not what's on the video game car. This is also getting somewhere. It's got the orange triangle coming down. It's just not focused inwards. Like, I know there's a scoop that dips into the hood, like the front part of the one in the picture here. But I'm not seeing exactly what I want. I'll just start off with this guy. I think that's... I could be a little further back. That's a good start for our scoop. We'll come back to it. I would like to get some body molding. Yep. And make the dip that I want. Only, is it reversed? Yeah, it gets narrower towards the deep end. Or not towards the shallow end. I want this guy. And getting somewhere. Yeah, I can paint over that with some dark color or something. That gives me that V shape I want. Alright, I'm gonna ditch that guy. Flip this around. Get that on there. Now we've got our inward pointing little triangle divot shape. So that's getting us closer. We'll see how it interacts with the racing stripes later, but you know, it is what it is. Going back, we have some wing mirrors that we're going to need to do. And the ones in game, well, they're geometrically simplistic. The stalks of the wing mirrors disappear depending on the angle you look at them. And they're an elongated pointy triangle. Now, I'm looking for elongated pointy triangle. This... that's about it, isn't it? And they're body colored? Yeah. I don't even think I need to change the size on that much. Boy, am I not looking forward to doing the whole stripe on the side of this thing. That's going to be the hard part. Door handles coming next. Do the door handles in the pictures look like anything, I wonder? It's a little blob of silver. It looks like it's a rectangular handle. You probably reach your fingers underneath, I guess. That's about the guy. Simple door handle. And it's not pictured in the game, but I think it needs a keyhole. You know, I just played, or I just did the video for it. I actually played it ages ago and then edited the video a while later. Part where he fills the car up in a cinema. I can see what side the fuel door is on. I want to go that far. But I'm just gonna make a random guess. Little painted fuel cap right there. So going backwards, aside from the guns and the paint, it looks like what we really need to do is just that whole tail light area, which is very simple. It looks like it doesn't even have reverse lights, and the blinkers are probably like a brake light within those tail lights. I wish the top of this trunk was a little taller. How can I tweak this body? At least it's flatter. I want this line to be like up here. I have illusion, I guess, to look that way. In fact, I feel like the front should be out just a little more like that. Just ruined my 3D fixtures down there. I'll have to come touch them up. Okay, so we're going to try and pretend that the trunk line's a little higher. Maybe I'll kind of cover it up. Definitely going to want to just use a grill piece to make that big sunken in rear area. I guess that's a good start. So we're going to make this trunk shallow, or this grill pretty shallow. This becomes flat black plastic. And we already have the backdrop for our taillights. These things come pretty close to the edge. They're actually kind of sloped. This thing is not sloped. Is there a slopish one? Well, it won't turn to chrome for me, but we're looking about the right shape. Not really. That rounded one looked better. This I like more. So we've got a little bit of shape for our taillights to follow, because they're not perfectly straight up and down. In fact, I think they have kind of a slanted edge just on one side. Yeah, it's definitely not a perfect rectangle. There's a triangle shape just on the side that slants downwards. Tricky, tricky. Might be an indicator light that I can use. It's, aha! That's perfect for this. Okay. And they certainly don't get a chrome border. Lights are about right, but the grill doesn't follow them. Maybe I'm being too picky. It's a rounded top and bottom, so it's hard to have one with a hard corner on the bottom like this. That is just the right shape, though. Maybe I can do the chrome embellishments myself. With, it's one of the headlights that has like a little chrome set of bars, isn't there? See the pro automation player at work, who knows exactly what fixtures he needs and when he needs them. That's me. I'm worried this cursed fixture that won't load is the one that I need has angled things in it. Ah, this is what I used last time. Now I remember these are a little also cursed, but they might get the job done. Yes, it's cursed because the center point is off. But it's also the only one that has all these different shaped curve pieces. I need that to be even less sunken in. Might dare to use a body patch. I'm going to be using more of these soon as the stripes have to be made. Now, the game car has some lettering that I believe says Rana. So you have half of the Pirahna name apostrophized. There's a little hole in the bumper that might be a machine gun, might be an exhaust pipe. I'll include it whatever it is as an exhaust pipe. What else is there? There's a couple little vents down on the bumper. Yeah. The game's decided my dual exhaust goes one up high, one down low. Now we're about there, except for some stripes and details. Oh, I know. Let's get the number plate. What's the number plate say in the game? Champ. I don't know if there's anything quite like that in here. Might just go for the California plate. See if I can get that lettering on there. It's silver and a cursive, I think? No, it's like a squarish monospace. There, for the Rana. And now there's nothing but stripes to do. Ugh. The stripes are kind of this matte, kind of plasticky black, I think, is apt. And there's some fat, wide ones on the front. Looks okay. Game screenshot goes right to the end there. I can't make them cut through the grill or anything, though. There's the right bumper bar. Just like settle like this. Ah, yeah, it sits right on top. Now the bumper bar must pretend to be paint. Two stripes that go all the way down to the grill. And we can fill in this little corner here. My next step, I've done these back pieces off camera. So now I'm getting to what's going to be probably the most challenging part, which is the side stickers. Yeah, so I have a long strip that goes all the way from the front, across the top of both the wheel wells. It gets wider as it goes back. And we've got the lettering back there. Yeah, it might not be too bad. I think my plan is to make a flat strip on the bottom and then an angled strip overlap that makes this sort of widening shape. And I think it's just meant to be a sticker, and I don't need any kind of like body molding to go along with this. Sloppy sticker if you look too close. Usually that seems to be how it is in automation, though. About how far back it should go. A little further. It gets pretty close to the edge here. And from there, it goes up over to the top. This will be a space we have our 432 badge in. Does it have a nice rounded bottom? It's kind of a square bottom. In fact, there's an indicator I missed under there. Yes. Right underneath the black paint. This whole thing needs to be a little closer to one end. Just wish this overlapped nicer, you know? You can kind of see there's some like Z fighting there, but hopefully it'll look a little better with beam. We'll see. Now we need our component of the stripe that makes it get a little fatter close to one end. Probably getting way too greedy if I think I can do this all with one triangle, but I'm going to try and do it with one triangle. Triangle does not like to stretch. Put it on the other side. That's certainly the shape I want. I overlap these stickers, I can't seem to stop it from being funny right here. I guess I can kind of zoom out and pretend it's fine. Maybe. Sorta. Also have a gap on one side of this thing only. Thanks, automation. That's a gap no matter what I do. Decals, man, they are a pain. Guess that's it, our black stripe. I'm only missing a 438 lettering. I can get to the weapons finally. The only downside, this is a fat looking badge. It's kinda good enough. They're non-conforming. Sticking off the bottom. Alright, I think that makes them stand off the car the least if I just tweak them a little in 3D. So that about makes the stock Pirahna 432 from the Dover Picard Corporation, apparently. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be separate companies or what. It's in-game, there's Dover cars and Picard cars, but in the manual, it's the Dover Picard Corporation. They're all lumped together. But we're missing the best part, which is a set of weapons. In the game, you get a machine gun and a rocket launcher when you first get it, and it's pictured here with a machine gun and a cannon. I'm just gonna pick out whatever I like, whatever I think looks good, I guess. And I think this mod set kind of has the only weapons that I definitely want to use for this. So we have these Gatling guns. This very ugly cannon that admittedly looks a lot like the one in the game, with about as many polygons. Got this version. It looks like a turreted minigun. And a ray gun. I could probably make the rocket launcher out of like 3D parts. It's all big hexagon. But I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah, that's about what I got for weapons. I think I can probably go for the gun and cannon setup, maybe. Looks about right. Make some of this parts gray instead of body color to look better. I can't make the ammo box on the side different color. It's gotta be all one thing, huh? Yeah, that doesn't look very good. It is mostly a big gray lump on top of the car, so I guess that's what I'm going for, more or less. But I guess that's our version of the Picard Pirahna. This is our version of the Picard Pirahna 432. And, time to test it in Beam. Now, I'm a little worried about how much wheel spin it's going to have. Now, if only I could easily export this with working guns and Beam. There's certainly people who have made vehicles with working guns in Beam. That's going to be a lot of J-beam editing, rather than something I can easily export straight from automation. Alright, now that we have it here in Beam... Oh. One of these stripes looks a lot worse than it did in automation, although the rest of them look better than in automation. They've gone glossy, which isn't what I had in mind, but, you know, I guess I'll deal with it. And nothing to do but put it in drive, since it's an automatic. Yeah, despite all the doom and gloom from the, Whoa! Oh, that certainly handles heavy. Okay, so there's a bit of wheel spin to think about. It might be served a little better by just upgrading the tire compound to Sport. Realistically, how it is driven in the game, it should be like a compromise between on-road and off-road tires. Oh man, no. The stripes, they hate BeamNG. They're flickering. So there we are. Top speed of 140 is controlled entirely by the red line. I didn't check the aero chart, but I'm assuming it does bad things when it goes too fast. That's also, you know, accurate for an American muscle car. In this era, anyway. Whoops. Oh no, my stripes! My beautiful paint! Once you get the wheels spinning, it's a one-tire fire for a long time, although it doesn't seem to want to spin if you just mash the gas from a standstill. So I actually want to say it doesn't handle that great. It's easy to spin the vehicle in place, which is probably the most distinctive feature of the handling in Interstate 76. They're trying to spin the car around and point at people all the time. So I'd say it's honestly not far off. Just Interstate 76's driving model gives you a little bit of extra help. So that's the Picard Pirahna 432. I'd say the beam test passes happily enough with how it handles. If I ever decide to be a BeamNG genius, I'll try and tack some real working guns onto it or something. In fact, if you like this video, maybe I'll even try and recreate the fancy HUD inside the vehicle that you get in Interstate 76. Somewhere in the Southwest. Find ourselves at the drag strip. Let's see. What's the closest to like an actual competitor? The Barstow, there we go. There's a 423. Yeah, that's it. So how do we compare against the real, as it were, 7-liter BeamNG car? Ah, lousy launch. Oh, we've got the power. We're passing him. .3 at 120 miles an hour. That's a bit faster, I think, than the book speed, but I don't mind. What else can this thing beat? Oh, I know what we can do. We can defeat that car by ramming it. Not just about winning races, is it? Really, I should be shooting my guns at it, but you know, I do what I can. Get some. That's right. Other cars defeated in vehicle combat by the Pirahna 432. If you've watched the video this far, thanks for coming. And tell me in the comments what you want to see next time.